Hello, brothers and sisters. I've been having some difficulties with my ISP and uploading, but things seem to have fixed themselves, and I hope and pray that this stream will be smooth. I'm going to get straight to it. I'm not going to wait for people to join, and then hopefully you can watch this video at your leisure later. So, in my last video, I referenced these diagrams which show the first and the second waves of the Spanish flu in 1918 and 1919, 100 years ago. I believe this was the precedent that was given to us. That which was done before will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. Here we can see this is global. This was New York, London, Paris, Berlin, and this was the waves that happened in those countries. And I think it's going to happen again. So here another graph which shows the first wave and then the second wave and then the third wave, and another one. This one was in Wales specifically, so more of a regional diagram, but exactly the same behavior. And this was England and Wales, North Midlands, identical behavior. So this is the behavior of the pandemic which occurred, and I believe that this is going to happen again because it is already happening in China. China have just bought 250 million items of personal protective equipment from the manufacturers. They've also taken the companies, certain companies which manufacture and produce these items, and nationalize them. So they have taken over ownership and made them state owned so that they can use them for the Chinese people. So China sticks to wartime mode amid fears of second wave. Authorities engineering a return to more recognizable pace of life are taking no chances. Okay, in this article from the Express, it says China's new coronavirus outbreak deadlier after mutating symptoms don't show for days more. So this thing is hibernating for longer. So, incubating. It goes into the system and it's not being seen. And they are also saying that it takes longer to recover, and they are seeing that this new strain attacks only the lungs, whereas the other ones showed issues with the throat and the sinuses. This one is only attacking the lungs. So there seem to be mutations of this virus which are coming, and China is not taking any chances. They're expecting a second wave, and they have already locked down 2 cities in northern China, which equates to something like 11 million people have been locked down, just like Wuhan. And of course, we're not going to hear that on the mainstream media, right? World in crisis as second wave of coronavirus in China shows virus has mutated. China's new outbreak in the north of the country shows signs the virus could be changing. There's now 3 strains. Type C is the daughter of B, one mutation different to the parent, spread to Europe via Singapore. So the second wave is already showing its ugly face in China. Okay, and as we know, these things spread. That was where it began, and then it went global after that. Now, I'm going to upset a lot of people by saying what I'm about to say and addressing this topic. But in the body of Christ, we are called to discern things, and whether or not we are popular is irrelevant. So Donald Trump has called on synagogues, churches, and mosques to reopen this weekend. US President says he's deemed places of worship essential and threatens to override governors who do not let them open. So, of course, at the outset, this sounds great. Sounds like a good thing because the churches having been locked down by the state obviously is a major concern, because as Donald Trump says, they've left the abortion clinics open and the liquor stores and these kinds of things. But my friends, let's be wise about this. The Bible says that we should be wise as serpents and gentle as doves. Okay? The difference between an abortion clinic and a liquor store and a church that holds hundreds of people, which gathers together in a small location, are obvious. That's quite an obvious difference between that comparison. A liquor store doesn't hold hundreds of people. It's easy to exercise social distancing, and an abortion clinic likewise. Not that I agree with that, but we are called to be wise about these things. Now, they will know very well that there is a second wave coming. This is a well-known, well-established principle of plagues and pandemics. So the question is, why is this the case? Why is it that restaurants are going to remain closed and shops are going to remain closed, but now we're being told that places of worship, which is another concern because Jesus Christ is Lord, and you cannot lump Jesus Christ in with Mormonism or with the worship of Mary or with Islam or with Hinduism. Jesus Christ is Lord. So this is addressing faith leaders, okay? It says that he's identifying houses of worship, churches, synagogues, and mosques as essential places that provide essential services. And he said that if governors don't abide by this request, he will override them, though it's not clear what he has the authority to do. Some governors have deemed liquor stores and abortion clinics as essential, but not churches. I said, that's not right, so I'm correcting this injustice and calling houses of worship essential. So this, at the outset, looks like it's the right thing. Okay, it looks like it's the right thing to do, but the book of Revelation chapter 12, it talks about the dragon standing before the woman, who is Israel, to devour her child, which is the church, as soon as it was born. So the church is in danger. The church is being put in danger. That's what that verse describes, is that the church is being put in danger. And of course, this conference call which Donald Trump had was with 1,600 faith leaders, and he was saying that they should open the churches and go back to their places of worship and gather together and collect together. But the US synagogues have rejected this, and the reason why is because they did not abide by the lockdown rules to start with. So the ultra-Orthodox didn't abide by the lockdown rules, and they were stung badly. A lot of people in the ultra-Orthodox community died from COVID-19, and it was a disproportionate amount of Jews died because they did not abide by the COVID-19 rules. So the US synagogues have rejected Trump's demands that says that they should go back to their houses of worship, because they know, it says, many Jewish leaders reject the entreaty as evidence shows group prayer is conducive to outbreaks and debate over how to resume services. Okay, so the Jews are saying, no, we're not going to do this because they've learned the hard way. Okay, I just want to see where it says about the conference call that they had. Donald Trump had a conference call with 1,600 faith leaders. I think it might be in. So I am very suspicious, as you'll know. I do not trust Donald Trump. I've made that very clear. I don't trust or believe what he says. He was born in the very hour of a blood moon, in the very hour of of a blood moon. Donald Trump came out of his mother, birthed into this world in the hour of a blood moon, which was over Israel. Okay, and I want to show you this article, which is from September 1990, after the gold rush. Now, this was long before Donald Trump was even considering becoming president, long before anyone thought that he would be president. And I want to read this, what this says, and what Ivana Trump, who was his ex-wife, wrote about Donald Trump. Okay, it says here, okay, she says that Donald Trump appears to take aspects of his German background seriously. John Walter works for the Trump Organization, and when he visits Donald in his office, Ivana, who's his ex-wife, told a friend he clicks his heels and says Heil Hitler, possibly as a family joke. So Donald Trump, he talks about his Irish background, but in actual fact, his father was German. Okay, and it says Donald Trump has always viewed his father as a role model. In The Art of the Deal, he wrote, Fred Trump was born in New Jersey, 1905. His father came here from Sweden. But in actual fact, the Trump family was from Germany. Okay, let me just get to this point here. Although Fred Trump was born in New Jersey, family members say he felt compelled to hide his German background because most of his tenants were Jewish. After the war, he thought that the Jews would never rent from him if they knew his lineage, Ivana reportedly said. Okay, and then it goes on to say, back here, Donald Trump, last April, here he says, perhaps in a surge of Czech nationalism, Ivana Trump told her lawyer, Michael Kennedy, that from time to time her husband reads a book of Hitler's collected speeches, My New Order, which he keeps in a cabinet by his bed. Kennedy now guards a copy of My New Order in a closet at his office as if it were a grenade. Hitler's speeches from his earliest days up through the phony war of 1939 reveal his extraordinary ability as a master propagandist. So then he says, this is the interviewer interviewing Donald Trump. He says, did your cousin John give you the Hitler speeches? I asked Trump. And Trump hesitated. Who told you that? I don't remember. Actually, it was my friend Marty Davis from Paramount who gave me a copy of Mein Kampf, and he's a Jew. I did give him a book about Hitler, Marty Davis said, but it was My New Order, Hitler's speeches, not Mein Kampf. I thought he would find it interesting. I'm his friend, but I'm not Jewish. Later, Trump returned to the subject. If I had the speeches, and I'm not saying that I do, I would never read them. So is Ivana trying to convince her friends and lawyer that Trump is a crypto-Nazi? Trump is no reader or history buff, but perhaps his possessions of Hitler's speeches merely indicate an interest in Hitler's genius at propaganda. Okay? And this again from August 1990. There's no agenda here. There's no left agenda here. There's no liberal agenda. This is from 1990. Trump keeps Hitler. Right? Why is Donald Trump saying that we should open the churches when there's a potential second wave coming? He will know very well that there's a potential of a second wave. The things that are happening in China are indicative that it's about to happen. Okay, chilling aerial footage shows mass graves in Brazil as 1,000 more die of coronavirus. Look at this. Look at these mass graves which are in Brazil. Okay? People who want to call this a hoax, that seems to be going to quite a great lengths of effort to make this hoax real. And this Bolsonaro called it a snivel. He said it was a little cough. Now he's reversed his attitude and saying that they're fighting a war, exactly the same as Donald Trump did. Okay, but the American intelligence would have had information about this Wuhan virus long before it came to light. So I think that this is being disingenuous. Opening up the churches is foolish, absolutely foolish, if not a deception. Okay, amid Russia and China tensions, US miles first nuclear test since 1992. Nation rising against nation. Deaths surge as infections swamp hospitals in Latin America. This is now the center of the outbreak, and the second wave is coming. The dragon stood before the woman to devour her child. Quest for super duper missiles at the heart of US rivalry with China and Russia. Okay. Sorry, there's just this is just taking a bit of time here. Trump administration discussed conducting first US nuclear test in decades. My friends, the time is coming. The judgment of God is coming, and nuclear war is just the beginning. That's just the beginning. Beijing to impose national security law in Hong Kong. They are already arranging protests about this. Beijing want to impose new laws in Hong Kong for anybody who dissents against the Chinese Communist Party, any sedition, any of these types of things which are against the Chinese Communist Party. This is happening as we speak, and this is going to cause great unrest in Hong Kong. Joshua Wong is already organizing protests to address this. Okay, I don't know why these... okay, so let's just go back here. Sorry. Xi Jinping makes high-stakes power play in move to subdue Hong Kong. Hong Kong is going to kick off again very, very shortly. And here also China drop push for Taiwan reunification. Taiwan is another nation which China claims is theirs, and they want to take them under control again. And they are saying that this is inevitable, and they have removed peaceful as the means by which they want to take control of Taiwan. So nation rising against nation. Okay, and then I wanted to show you the Sea of Galilee beaches at maximum capacity under virus rules as heat wave breaks. Everyone's going to the beach. Everyone is treating this as if the virus has gone away. But as we know from China, the behavior is that it is coming back. So it's very, very foolish to open up things and not tell people to exercise caution, certainly to wear masks. But that is the time that we're living in. So the dragon stood before the woman to devour her child as soon as it was born. The man-child is the church. Okay, the church is in danger. It's in danger. It's in a position of danger from the dragon, and that's why it's caught up. So here we have been told that the churches and the mosques and the synagogues should all open up and go back to as it was before. Donald Trump also went to Motor Ford company plant, and he was talking about Ford and bloodlines, dropping hints of Henry Ford's virulently anti-Semitic protocols of Zion, which of course talks about a Jewish conspiracy. So, guys, there are hints of things which are happening, which are of great concern to me. To what's going on now. Why would you do this? The other portions of society are not being opened up, but the churches are being told to go and gather together. And of course, there's such a lack of discernment, a morbid lack of discernment in the churches, that they just trust what he says prima facie. They just trust what he says prima facie. So if and when the second wave comes, then then people are going to really feel the sting. And I hope that the church is ready to go. because the rapture of the church is coming, and I believe that this is the dragon standing before the woman to devour her child, telling churches to go back as the second wave is arriving.